Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome to episode 43 of Shrigleytube TV. Thanks for all the comments last week. Really appreciate everyone that made the effort to put a comment on the comments page. That was great. This week we've got a visit from Mark Cistern and his superb 1040cc imp, Mark 1 imp in a curly edge block. So we had a little interview and let me drive the car, and it drove absolutely amazing. I just thought, wow, this is a great car. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Also, we finished the black engine, a 1012cc. That got a bit of a dyno run, and that was very pleasing. That was a good engine. So yeah, that's all that's really happened this week at the workshop. I have got a question to put to you, chaps, as in, I'm trying to keep Shrigleytube purely 7 o'clock Sunday, all about what's gone on in the week in the workshop regarding engineering or Hillman engines, etc. But I do lots of other things that are sort of random, different engines, different jobs, etc. And I was thinking I should open another YouTube channel and put my sort of more random stuff on there. But anyway, I thought I'd ask you chaps, see what your opinion was. Just pop it in the comments, whatever you think. If you want to see it all mixed in with Shrigleytube, then fine, we'll do that. If you want to keep it separate, then I think it'd be better to keep it separate and just keep Shrigleytube for 7 o'clock Sunday, imps, engineering, etc. And we'll do the stock cars and everything else on another night on a different channel. Anyway, have a great week. Look forward to seeing you all on Sunday at 7. Bye for now. Okay, YouTubers, it's a glorious Wednesday morning, and I've had a visitor. You may remember Mark. Mark, how you doing?
Hello.
Oh, I've not got my aerial. I'll have to hold it. Right. I'll control the microphone because I'm a control freak, as you know. Yeah. Right. Mark built his own engine at home, a 1040, didn't you, Mark?
I did.
And he's now fitted it, and he's very kindly brought the car down. So I'll ask you just a few basic questions about the car, and we'll have a good look at it, and maybe we'll go for a little test drive if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Wicked. Right. So, when did you buy the car, Mark?
I bought it 2012.
Right.
Bought it off Car and Classic, and the interesting thing about this car is when I went to see it, the guy who was selling it was in Stockport, and he just bought the house, and he said, you know what, he said, this car came with the house.
Really?
Yeah. It was bought on auction, the house, and the car was part of the package, and then I remembered that there'd been some chatter on the Imp Club forum about a year or so prior to that, where this had been a story in the Manchester Evening News about this vet retiring in this house in Stockport, and was going to live somewhere where he could no longer keep it, and his kids didn't want the car, and so he decided to make the house make the house sell. He'd sell he put the car with the house. So this was an article in the Evening News. So as this bloke told me this, I thought, wow, I'm having this car. There's no way I'm not having this car now.
Do you know the sad bit about what you just told me is when you said the kids didn't want it?
Yeah.
How could they not want that?
They weren't.
What's wrong with the kids today?
They weren't proper kids, obviously.
I mean, it's had a bit of restoration work.
A little bit, but all the panels were sound. There's been no panels replaced or anything. This vet fella fitted radiators to his garage before he put them in the house, and kept the car in the garage and cleaned it every night when he got in, and it was really well preserved as a consequence of that. It's just very flat paintwork, and
wow.
So
the paint is stunning. I'm just looking at these wheels. What size are these wheels?
Well, these are the 12-inch wheels that come from the factory,
right?
But I had them banded about 2 or 3 years ago.
Excellent.
Because I wanted the arches to fill out,
Yeah.
I wanted to keep the same original wheels.
So a little look inside. Oh, it's very nice, very standard looking.
Yeah.
Nice brown interior with a brown carpet.
It can't be
the racing steering wheel. And you've got a rev counter as well.
Yeah.
Right, let's get to the business end. Oh, and it smells of vanilla aroma. Right. Tell me about the engine, Mark. This is a built on the kitchen table.
Yes.
I did a bit of machine work for you to help you along.
You did quite a bit of machine work for me, actually. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a controller, and I liked I love the idea when you said to me, I want to do the original engine, because people always poo-poo the curly edge blocks.
Yeah.
But I've built a race engine out of a curly edge, and I've seen several of them.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no problem with them at all. So, and they're lighter than a standard imp. In fact, I might do myself a race engine one day out of a Mark 1 curly edge block. But let's have a look at the engine then.
Yeah, well, when I bought the car, one of the first things I did was actually take the engine out, because it was there was oil leaking into the water.
Right.
I mean, it ran well, but you know, it just was obviously a very worn engine, and I took it out and pulled it to bits and brought it to you, and you condemned it at the time, saying there's nothing we can do with that engine, but that block, but don't throw it away.
Yeah, I remember.
One day, you know, you can turn that into a 1040.
Yeah, because the top of the liners had chipped, hadn't it?
Yeah.
So there was no land for the head gasket to sit. So
that's right.
So what we did was we put some liners in this.
Yeah.
And made it a 74mm bore.
Yeah.
And then we sent the head away to our friend Neil Roper, and he ported the head for you. Neil's an ex-Skip Brown man, so it's on big valves as well.
Yeah.
But we retained the Imp Sport camshaft, so you got some nice torque.
Yeah.
And I did you a nice little Solex for it with a 24mm choke. Where's it gone?
Well, we had a bit of an issue with that a day and a half before we were due to travel somewhere.
Cut. Right, okay. No.
What do you want me to say?
Well, just tell me the story about where you've got this 1.5 inch, which I think's rather large.
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. So I'd already had this 1.5 inch Strongberg carburettor, which I bought in the mid '80s, and could never get it to work properly on a standard 875 engine. Not enough airspeed. I don't know what it was. I mean, first time I fitted it to a car, I didn't realise you're supposed to put oil in this bit either. So I don't think that helped. God. But anyway, it's been on and off Hillman Imps for loads of times, you know, over the years, and it's been fine on a sport engine, but not brilliant. Right. And I thought, well, let's try it on this. You know, with
how's
it being.
It run? Have you tuned it to a?
It's just made for it.
Made for it.
It's you know, that's been in my spares box for 40 odd years, and it's finally found its home. It's finally got a life. But because of your increased capacity, you've now got the airspeed to make it work. I was astonished when I put it on and went for a drive. It was like, you know, wow.
Do you actually think it's better than the big Solex?
It's absolutely, it's just got that constant, you know,
torque.
Yeah, all the way through the rev band. It's just there, especially when you get it into fourth gear.
Let's have a listen to it then.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try and twist Mark's arm and say, can we go for a little drive? Because I'm sure he'll let me. I've got trade policy.
Have you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, fire it up, Mark. Let's have a little listen. Yeah, it knocks when you first start it, doesn't it? I'm just joking.
Oops, I'm sitting on things. Hold on.
Lovely. Right, we'll get loaded up and we'll go for a little drive. Car. I love it. It drives amazing. It's got a real good bit of torque there. Yeah. It just makes me smile driving it.
It's so much different to the 875 as well. It's remarkable, you know.
Yeah, you could put a trailer set on the back of this and tow it, couldn't you? Or a caravan. No, it's and the gearbox is nice as well, isn't it? It's absolutely smooth as silk. Vince Frost did that for me. The legendary Ernie. Yeah.
I've never had a Hillman gearbox that doesn't leave work.
Go back into first. Oh,
yeah. Like a switch, mate. You won't do it again.
I just thought we'd go for a little cruise around. This is a very posh area called St. Retford. St. Retford in Manchester.
Yeah. St. Retford on the Mersey.
Well, this is where my mate, car dealer Berger, he brings all his cars down here. It's really nice down here.
Yeah.
I've got like a Stretford Marine. Oh. But yeah, no, the car drives. You know what? I drive modern cars sometimes, and they haven't got any better. This is as good as it gets. Yes. I mean, I know I'm biased, but yeah, this is why I keep an Imp on the road, because for me, I don't know if I am obviously a bit weird, but when I get stressed out with the job or things aren't going well, I always find that going for a blast in the hill down to Lynn on the lanes, it sort of clears my head. It makes me happy inside. I've got to record it all. Right, here's St. Retford Marine. Look at that! Look at that, Jane, isn't that nice?
It's like Monaco.
Brilliant. Well, that is absolutely stunning. What we'll do is I'm just going to get out and do a little video of the outside. No, it's alright, just stay there. I just wanted to get the car.
Alright.
Get that. Okay, Mark, well, thank you very much for the test drive. I really enjoyed that. And you've just been pointing more information out, which I thought might be relevant. But this tailpipe at the back, what's that all about?
Okay, well, it's I got it fitted to the exhaust because I was getting fumes in the cabin. Particularly when you open the quarter light. And I'd read about various people trying this, so I just thought, right, well, let's do it and see what happens. And it's absolutely transformed it, because you can drive now without having those oily smells.
Yeah, well, the wife always says that the husky smells, but I don't smell it because I've spent all my life in a smelly workshop. But well, that's a brilliant little fix. That I might try that.
Yeah, but the added advantage to it is that you throw all your exhaust notes out to the side.
I noticed that. Yeah, window down, it all ricochets off the houses, and you can hear your engine.
Yeah, so you're forever driving around looking for high brick walls to drive next to.
Brilliant. Now I'm that impressed with the way that drove.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of putting one of these Stromberg carburetors on my Husky.
Absolutely.
So
I'm gonna buy some shares in Stromberg this afternoon then.
Mate, I've got loads of them. I've got hundreds of bloody things. Tell me, how many miles to the gallon did it do going to Scotland?
Scotland and back, including some, probably about 100 miles of Highland sort of driving. So yeah, 47 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
Which I think was okay.
And has it got like a catalytic converter and a lambda sensor on it?
No.
That is seriously impressive. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Mark, you've been an absolute gent. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday night. Have you got your popcorn?
I have.
Excellent.
Permanently there.
Do you stay awake to the end?
Sometimes. Alright, mate.
Thanks, Mark. See you soon. See you down. Good morning, YouTubers. Thought we'd start this week by saying some thank yous. First of all, I received a parcel in the post. A chap called Stephen very kindly posted 2 books to me. This is a Singer Chamois owner's handbook and an Autopress Limited manual for the imp. Now this is actually better than the Haynes manual because I've had a quick scan through it. This is a nice little letter that the man sent with it, and it has a section on Strombergs, so I'll have a read of that and see if we can get the hang of him, because I've not got the hang of him yet, that's for sure. So thank you very much, Stephen. That was very thoughtful of you to send that to me. I will look after those, be rest assured. So next part was this big piece of aluminium that was screwed to the bench here. Obviously the bench was getting a bit weathered, on the end where engines slid on and off the bench. So you may all remember Bob Jones, the chap who does the crank balancing. He went to pick his car up from a paint shop, and he said, this bloke said to me, his name's Carl, he said, you know that lad that does the YouTube videos, give him this piece of aluminium and tell him to screw it to his bench, because I'm sick of looking at his dissolving bit of chipboard falling apart when he's building his engine. So thank you very much, Carl, if you're out there watching this week. Much appreciated. I bolted it down, made it all level and low. So we're going to build this engine next. This is the one that I put the liners in last week. It's been bored and honed and clean now, so we'll get that all laid out and we'll get a build on with that. But yeah, Carl, and I do remember you now, Carl. Carl used to do grass track racing, and when I worked for Bob, I remember him collecting his engines several times when they've been in for refresh. So thank you very much, Carl. That is wonderful. Thank you. Okay, YouTubers, I thought I'd do a quick 2-minute chat about this engine before I build it and put it on the dyno. This engine was a new engine that had been built a long time ago, and the chap had run it in his car and it had a bit of an oil consumption issue. So you might remember last week I'd put the liners back in it, so I pushed the liners out, I've re-glued it, and then I've machined the top of the block, and I replaced the timing cover as well because there was a problem with the original timing cover. So it's all matched, ready to go together now. I've also, once it was glued in, I've rebored it to 73mm from 72.5, so it's now a 1012cc Now I've done it with these are the Maynard pistons. These are great, these work an absolute treat. I've done this engine, you might know it's quite close there. This is what I call a tight tolerance engine, so I've done it on a 2.5 L skirt clearance rather than a 4th L one, just because it's a road car. It'll just make it that little bit nicer, and you'll have a bit more time to run it in. The engine was quite a good spec. It did have a 930 type crankshaft in it, so I've scrapped that and said no, we'll make it the same as a normal imp. So I put it on a imp crank with the scroll turned down so it can run the seal, because this is actually, if you notice, if you look, you'll see it's a Talbot Sunbeam block, so it has a rear seal in the back of it already. Obviously the ACL bearings with the ARP bolts, standard set of rods, and the head is very nice. The head, big valve head. I just had a quick look over it. As you can see, I've just zoom in. I've just modified that to take the grub screws so that we can support the chamber from underneath. We've talked about that many a time. I've skimmed it, redone the wheel string grooves. I've also welded it there. The chap's going to paint it all at his end. He wasn't fussed about having it blasted. He just said, no, just get the job done. I want to be out in it in the summertime, etc. So all this was new. So the valves are going to go again, the springs, all that, the caps. It had proper steel cam followers in it, and the nice R21 camshaft. So everything there is correct. New oil pump on it. So it's got the full block strengthening kit. So when it gets assembled, I just thought I'd introduce you to the engine first rather than just show you it running on the dyno, which hopefully we'll get it on the dyno and get a tune out of it this week. Okay, YouTubers, I'm on the dyno now with the black engine, the one we put the liners in last week. I've managed to get it assembled this week, and just been running it in, giving it some gentle load, just being friendly to it really. The rattling noise, for those that haven't heard it before, is the dyno shaft and not the engine. So these carbs are original Italian woods, and they're really nice. Picks up really well, really impressed with it. It's an R21 cam, big valve head, like I discussed before, and it's a 1012cc, so it's basically half a mil over bore on 998, so that makes it 73 mil from 72.5. The compression ratio works out at 12:1, which was nice for the R21 cam. It'll have quite a good static, so the torque's nice on it. It's really good. Load him up at 5,000 there, about 70 foot-pound. Not been going too crazy with it. I thought, if you might recall, when I was doing the build earlier, I did say I'd left him on a 2.5 L piston skirt clearance rather than 4th L, because I wanted this engine to be, it's not a racer, so it's not going to go out there and get put to its paces. The chap who owns it's going to bed it in for like 500 miles, so I've left it a bit tighter, so I'm not going to stick 8,000 on it. Just goes to 7. 5.5, nearly 75 foot-pound there. Comes on there, doesn't it? Whoops, about 7.5 there. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's a really nice little engine, this. I'm sure he'll be chuffed to bits with it. Anyway, I'll take this off now. Well, I'm going to leave it on until next week, because I might have a little play around with the fueling before it goes out. Okay. What I was also going to say, YouTubers, was this exhaust wrap on these exhausts. I've left it on because the customer done such a nice job of putting it on. But if I zoom in, all looks cool, doesn't it? If I go inside here, can you see the primary pipe there? It's actually glowing, and it's not retarded. It's got like 38 degrees of advance in it. So yeah, it's got quite a nice cam cover on this Talbot. So yeah, I don't like the wrap, guys. If you decide to put it on, just be aware that it does attract moisture, and then that moisture in turn rots the exhaust system, and also I think like the mild steel like crystallizes and loses some of its strength when it gets repeatedly up to, you know, cherry red temperature. So I'm going to suggest strongly to the customer that he does remove this. Okay, YouTubers, hope you've enjoyed tonight's episode and you're still awake. I'll look forward to seeing you all at 7 o'clock next Sunday. Bye for now.